Welcome to the Aligned and Magnetic podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Ashley, intuitive business coach certified by the International Coaching Federation, and they call me the money mindset and manifestation queen. I take a spiritual and practical approach that's backed by neuroscience to help you make your vision a reality, but more importantly, doing it in a way that lights you the fuck up. If you're ready to create an aligned, magnetic, and profitable business so you can live a life and do the work you are absolutely in love with, you're in the right place. Get ready to hear the powerful questions and raw lessons that you need to create success your way. Thank you so much for being here. Let's dive in. Hi, loves. Welcome back to another episode of the Aligned and Magnetic podcast, Season 2. I am so excited that you are here, and I just want to say, I have so much going on in my life right now. Not just my life, really. Life is, chill. In my business, I am currently promoting a kind of a new mini mastermind that's part of the Aligned and Magnetic Business Accelerator. I'm also trying to work with my team on the launch of season 2. Obviously, if you're listening to this, we have gotten through the launch. But there's just a lot. There's a lot happening. I'm also supporting my clients and it's all the things. So anyway, all of that said, it's a freaking miracle that we are here. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for being along this journey with me. And I'm excited to dive into this episode. So this was inspired because one of my clients inside of the Aligned and Magnetic Business Accelerator came to me and said something about, I'm trying to find the actual message here, something about her goals and how she kind of fell short of them. And I feel like I just have so much to say about this. So we have this channel inside of our Discord, which is like Slack, if you're not familiar with Discord. And there's a ton of different channels. So, there's peer feedback, we set intentions each week. We have a channel for sales and marketing and messaging and manifestation. Because as you might know by now, I take a holistic approach to everything. So in the safe space, which is where a lot of my clients will post things that are going on in their lives, or it's kind of an open circle, if you will, where you can share, what you're struggling with, and we just hold space for you, right? In a safe context. So one of my clients said this morning, so I was looking back at what I journaled last year about what I want to accomplish this year. And while I'm super proud of what I have accomplished, I can't help to see what I didn't do. I know that's normal, but it's making me think I need to be more realistic. What do you do? Be realistic when you set goals, or keep striving super high with good intentions? So one of my other clients in here, chimed in with why not? What do you have to lose when setting really high goals? So what if you don't accomplish them, right? Shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars, is what she said. And yeah, I totally agree with that. So I want to share with you what I shared to my students, because it was really helpful for not just the one who posted this comment, but for the other ladies inside of this space as well. And so the first thing I said was around goal setting. Goal setting is so personal. What works for me might not work for you. And so the thing for me is if I set, and you might be able to relate to this, if I set goals that are too achievable, I'll self-sabotage, because it's not why am I doing it? You know what I mean? We kind of plateau or stay stagnant, if you will. Humans are designed, we all have this innate need to grow. At least the people in my world. I don't know about you, but we all have this innate need to grow. And, aligned with quantum physics and energy, energy grows and multiplies. And we are energy. And so our energy is also meant to grow and multiply and expand. And so if we're not expanding, if we're not progressing, we are pretty much dying. We're going backward. We don't feel good. when we're just staying stagnant. And so that's why it's important to set goals that challenge you. Otherwise, you might reach a plateau. You might reach boredom. You might reach like, why am I even showing up, right? Like, there's no point. And so I always like to help my clients create goals that are a little bit of a stretch, challenging, and something that helps them step outside their comfort zone. Because as soon as you get comfortable, it's time to set new goals. It's time to go after something else. It's time to challenge yourself in a bigger way, because that's how you'll grow. So that's the first thing. The other thing with this is if we set goals that are way too high for ourselves, then as overachievers, we'll probably self-sabotage by trying to do too much, figure out how to get there, and like we'll run races or run circles around ourselves or around ourselves, I guess, trying to get to where we so desperately want to be. And so it can be a bit of a self-sabotage if we aim too low or if we aim too high. Because the other thing too with high achievers and perfectionists is if we feel like our goals are way too out of reach for ourselves, we're just going to be like, yeah, I can't do that. Like, fuck it. Like, why am I going to show up? Like, I'm never going to get there anyway. This is why mindset work is so important in business. And it's also why, obviously, setting goals that are in alignment with who you are as an individual person is super, super key. If you are listening to this episode and you are resonating with this whole concept of setting aligned goals that not only stretch you, but also that work for who you are as an individual, I actually have a workshop. It's called Create a Rock Solid Vision and Make More Money in Your Business. And it's designed to help you actually create goals that are in alignment with your human design. Human design plays such a big role in, first of all, like it tells us about our energy. Like, how are we meant to focus? How are we meant to move about life? Like, flow, if you will. Let me give you some context. I used to set these really strict goals for myself in business. Like, I want X amount of dollars. I want this, this, and this. And I found it so frustrating because I would set such high goals and then I would focus so hard on making that goal happen, making that goal a reality. And I always was falling short. And I think that a lot of this had to do with, first of all, control. Like, I think I've really, since moving to Mexico, have learned how to let go of control and how to just like be in the moment and go with the flow, like go with the intuitive nudges that I'm receiving and all that. And it's definitely impacted not only my business, but also my happiness. So that's kind of the approach I take now. Previously, I was like setting these crazy goals, but then I was like, the way I was approaching them was very structured and rigid. And I'm not a structured and rigid person. Like, yes, I need structure, but I need to be able to flow within that structure. I was comparing myself to my peers. I was comparing myself to all of these different people that were like making crazy shit happen in their business. And I was like, well, why can't I do that? So I would try their strategies, and it was frustrating for me. And so the first thing in this is obviously like comparing yourself. That's a big no-no in business. And then the second thing is looking more at you, what you offer, what you're here to do, what you desire as the foundation and the center for what will help you to achieve your goals and your dreams. So that's just a little tidbit about goal setting. Like I said, if you would like to learn how to set your goals and create a rock solid vision for your year, definitely go check out this workshop. You can do it at your own time, at your own pace, and you're going to learn a lot about your human design along the way. So that is available to you in the show notes. So the next thing I was telling my client inside of the accelerator is that our brains are actually wired to help us get to our desired outcome without us having to force or figure out the best way possible to get there. And it's interesting because our brains are so powerful, right? So like we can also problem solve and we can find like fix challenges and find solutions and all of this stuff. And that can also be a really big thing that holds us back because what I've really learned about energetics and quantum physics and this whole topic of like visualizing your results, and working with your higher self, for example, is that like when we try to figure out how to get somewhere the fastest way possible, and we try to have all the answers, that's really taking like an ego approach to it. An ego, like, and when I say ego, it's like the ego that's afraid of maybe not achieving success, or they want to force their way into the desired outcome, or, they don't want to be shamed or embarrassed about, not getting the things that they want or not achieving the success that they desire. And so when we have all of these fears around success and around achievement, we have all of these attachments, right? Like a lot of the people that I work with were high achievers. And so we have these attachments to what it means to be successful and what it means to achieve something, right? And if we don't do that, then what? Like, oh my God, that's not even like a possibility. Like we need to, a lot of our worth is attached to achievement. And so when we can unravel that and just see like, okay, where does that come from? And start to realize that actually like we don't have to attach our worth to achievement and success, then we can start to take a more surrendered approach to achieving our goals. So here's a different perspective, right? Like I get that we're all overachievers here, and I get that we want to create, like make something of ourselves and create something in this lifetime. And also like, here's just a flip. Like what if you came here for a specific reason that you're not even seeing because you're so focused on creating some other type of reality for yourself, right? Like when I was living back in Canada, I had this plan. I was going to climb the corporate ladder. I was going to become a director, and I was going to make 6 figures, and that was it. Except that like there was something within me that was telling me like, no girl, you got to go travel the world. You got to like do something bigger with your life. Like you have a serious impact to make, and this office is not it for you. Like this is not where you're meant to be. And I had to go with that. Like even though it was challenging, I didn't trust it. I didn't trust this inner knowing, and I didn't take action on it. So the universe acted for me. And I ended up losing my contract, and not losing it, but they just didn't end up renewing it. So I quit early. Office dynamics also changed. My boss was no longer, she was on leave and she didn't have control. She wanted to keep me. This other guy didn't. He was a huge manipulative douchebag. But anyway, it all happened for a reason, because if that didn't happen, I would probably still be comfortable in that office that had a window that was like in an alleyway, and it was dark and dingy, and I was not happy there. All of this to say is that like we're always receiving intuitive nudges. We're always receiving guidance. We always have like, I'll bet you have something within you that's like whispering to you that's like, hey, like maybe this isn't it for you. Like maybe there's something better. Like maybe you came here for a bigger reason. And these are the people that I work with, because you are the person that is meant to fulfill a deeper purpose, right? You are that person that came here for a bigger reason. Like you didn't just come here to work for the man, for example, or like pass your life not having the impact that you're meant to have. And we can all have and create impact in our own way. It doesn't have to look like building a business, being a coach, being a healer. Like it can literally be however it is for you. And that's why one-on-one coaching is so helpful, because it takes away all of the bullshit of like what everybody else has created and all of the ways you think you have to do it. And we focus on, okay, like what is your vision? You know what I mean? And once we get clear on that vision, this is going back to what I was saying around how our brains are designed. Your brain, in a sense, works like a computer, in that when you put your vision, like for example, use ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT is like off the rails right now, popular, or AI, whatever AI thing you use, or even Google. So you type into Google, hey Google, how do I create a business that makes $100,000 a year, for example, right? But you're not just typing in Google business, right? You know what I mean? We're getting a little bit more specific. How do I build a business that makes $100,000 a year? Or let's say that, I don't know, you want to, God, I can only think of examples for myself. Let's say that you want to build a house in the jungle and start your own community. Well, you're not just going to put in jungle, right, in Google. Like, you're going to get a little bit more specific around what it is that you want. And the same thing with ChatGPT is like, the more clear you can become in ChatGPT, the more kind of specific responses and tailored to you the responses can be, because you're giving it more information. So the more information you give your brain around what your vision is, how you desire to live your life, the work that you desire to do. My dog is looking at me in the mirror, so cute. The life that you desire to live, the work that you desire to do, how you desire to receive money, how you desire to spend money, the kind of money that you want to have in your bank account, what you want to do with your money, the kind of clients you want to work with, how you want to work with them, the way you want to spend your time, like all of these different things. Visualizing and getting clear on that can help your brain to start looking for the answers to get there, instead of you having to do all of this research and you having to go searching for the answers, right? Like, we are not designed necessarily to do that. And for sure, there are like times in which we do need to do research. There are times in which we want to look up information. But I think a way more relaxed approach to building the business of your dreams is to get super crystal fucking clear on that vision that you have, and to start listening for the answers, to start listening for the guidance, because this is another thing. The universe is always sending us signals. It's always sending us like guidance and maybe like even corrections, right? And when you're living a life that's in alignment, aka you are moving toward, I guess, your higher self, or you're moving toward your deeper calling, you're listening to those internal nudges, you're listening to your inner voice, because I believe our higher self is always talking to us too. It's always trying to communicate with us. And so when you're on track, when you're not living in fear, but you're living in full trust that you are doing exactly what you need to be doing, and that you are on the right track, and that not just that, but you're also following the guidance that you get, and that feels right to you. Like, we all know when something feels right and doesn't feel right. We just often don't trust ourselves. So when you do trust in yourself and you do trust in that internal guidance, then you're going to find so much more, like so many more signals, so many more messages, so many more like, oh my God, that's aligned with what I'm going through. Like just the other day, I saw an Instagram post. So at the time of recording this, Alexis is in Monterrey, Mexico. She just did a Spartan run and she's hiking on her own. She loves traveling alone. And I'm here and I just did this whole releasing ritual at yoga. I've been doing releasing like at night. And it's been actually opening up some opportunities for me. And I really love that. And so it's interesting because I came across this Instagram post that, someone posted about human design. I'm a 4/6, Alexis is a 2/5. And the projections that she made, or it was something around like, don't be afraid to, or it's not too late to, something like that. For the 2/5, it was talking about being alone, being in solitude. It was talking about transformation and like the wisdom that she has to offer. And for Alexis, that is, it was talking about the healingness that comes with solitude for her. And for me, it was around building community and building aligned friendships. And what's interesting is literally that same night, this happened yesterday at the time of recording, I was in yoga class and I was visualizing every single friend that I've had that is not a friend anymore. As much as I can see that, like, okay, we're just on different journeys and it's okay. Like, I can see that from a bigger picture perspective, but there was still a part of me that was hanging on to these friendships. So long story short, I was in yoga and I was visualizing each and every friend that I had. that I am no longer really friends with. And I just went through the Ho'oponopono and I visualized each of them and I sent them true love, like not just like, yeah, whatever, like I love them. No, I was like really feeling into it. I was like, I really, really love you. Like I really cherish all of the moments. I'm gonna cry. All of the moments that we created together, and I just thanked them. So the Ho'oponopono is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. It might be in a different order. Thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. Something like that. This releasing, though, just including these 4, has been super beneficial. And right after yoga, an opportunity came through. My yoga teacher was like, hey, I want to run a retreat with you. And I was like, what the heck? That would be absolutely amazing. And I've been waiting to like run my own retreat here, but it hasn't been flowing, right? And when it doesn't flow, I'm like, no, it's not the right time. Like I just know, because I'm no longer willing. Like I'll force some things, but there's a lot of things that I'm just not willing to force for. And that was one of them. And so it's really cool that opportunity came through. Anyway, releasing is powerful. And I'm going to do another episode on this because I realize I'm so off track. But this is what it is to be in alignment, right? Like when you are following the steps, you're following the intuitive nudges. And I think something that seriously keeps us out of alignment is distraction, TV, phones, social media. The more we are distracted by other bullshit happening in the world, the less we are hearing our inner voice and our intuition, and the less space we actually create to follow through on it, right? So part of this whole journey is creating the space to do that, because if your calendar is filled with busy things, when are you ever going to get the opportunity to actually take the action that your intuition's telling you to take? So that's part of being in alignment. And so back to this whole visualization, like when you can envision the outcome that you desire and take aligned and intuitive action along the way, that is how we know that we are on the right path. If you are spending your years like circling and trying to find answers and trying to get results and like I just want to invite you to try a new way. Like I really want to invite you to start first by visualizing your outcome, like visualize your life and give yourself space to sit with that. Give yourself space, like whether you're walking in nature, whether you're meditating, whether you are painting, or even just doing the dishes, like give yourself space to be with yourself and to allow the intuitive guidance to come through. And then take action, like do the thing, don't wait on it, because if you wait on it, the moment's going to pass and you're never going to do it. So, okay, the next part of this is once you have the big vision, and then we set our goals, right? So we set goals for the year. Now, I think the most ideal place to get to, I don't know if that's the right word, like where I'm at with it, let me just say where I'm at with it and what's really helpful for me is that, so we set like crazy high goals for ourselves, right? And a lot of us get distracted, or like we spin in circles, like we avoid the thing that we really need to be doing because we're too afraid to do the thing that we're supposed to do, or that is not supposed to do, but like that is truly calling us forth to be done. And so when we're living in those distractions, we can sway further and further from our goal. Or if we're trying to control the outcome, then again, we're just like not in alignment. We're creating all of these things that like may or may not get us to where we want to be. And it can feel stressful and overwhelming. So I think the place where we want to get to, and where I'm at, is once we're clear on that bigger picture, once we're clear on like what the end result is, now taking out the years, because a year is really not that much time if you think about it. Like it's really not, especially when it comes to business. It's not a lot of time. So remove the years, see your goal, and then like look at the trajectory of that goal and where are you from A to Z? Where are you on that journey of reaching your goal? And if we can look at progress that way, instead of looking at what we didn't accomplish or what we didn't do and shaming ourselves for all of these things, then we can more accurately evaluate our progress. We can more accurately evaluate our accomplishments. We can more accurately stand in our self-acceptance, our journey, our I don't even know if worth is the right word, but we can see things for as they truly are. Because here's what I notice happens a lot. Here's what happens a lot to myself and also my clients. So we look at our goals and we're like, oh, I didn't accomplish them. I suck. I fucking suck. I hate this. Blah. And yes, we can have obviously a feeling about the accomplishments we did move forward with, and we can be like, yay. But as humans, we tend to look at the negative. We tend to look at what we didn't do. We tend to look at what's not working, right? And obviously a really big key to success is shifting this, looking at what is working. And that's something I'm always working on with my clients. But essentially, instead of looking at whether you accomplished a goal or not, you're looking at the trajectory, you're looking at the journey, you're looking at the big picture of things. And instead of attaching your worth or your sense of accomplishment to how many goals you accomplished in 1 year, you're looking at how you move the needle forward, right? And instead of thinking okay, what's the fastest path to get there? What's the fastest way to get there? We can see from a bigger, more wise place that everything, things don't happen overnight, right? And I'm going to do another episode on this because I think it's really important. I did I think it was an Instagram story, but there are 7 stages of business growth that I mapped out. And these 7 stages take different time to go through. So stay tuned for a new episode on that, because I think it's so important for us to recognize where we're at on our business journey. And I remember what I was saying actually earlier is that a lot of what happens is we look for the things that we didn't do. We look at all the things we didn't get done. We look at all of the where we aren't. We look at the failures instead of the successes, and then we attribute that to being an us problem. We attribute our lack of accomplishment to something must be wrong with me. And this is so inaccurate. There's nothing wrong with you. And what we need to know is, okay, what goals did you set for yourself? Were they realistic? Were they achievable? If you want to have $100,000 year, did you take the action to get there? What actions did you take, right? Did you energetically get your mindset and your energy right? Were you acting and feeling and being as if, my dog needs to go potty. Were you acting, believing, feeling, and being as if you were a business owner who's making $100,000? Or were you acting as if the person who really wants to get there and has no idea how to get there? So definitely grounding your goals and the revision of your goals into reality is super, super key to be able to actually evaluate how much you did do. And if there's anything that you take away from this podcast episode, I want it to be to not look at what you didn't do, but to look at what you did do, right? And to go from there, if you didn't do all of the other things, then we can ask why. What got in the way? What kept you small? What kept you distracted? What were you avoiding? What was missing from your strategy or from your actions? What kept you from going after those really big goals? Because I find a lot of my clients, when they first come to work with me, they want to achieve these really big goals. And something that happens is that if you don't believe you can achieve them, and it's not even if you don't believe it, but I think our brains are so sometimes programmed to get distracted and not stay focused. And it actually takes a lot of work to stay with a goal that you set for yourself And a lot of the clients I work with, they end up distracted. They end up like, oh, well, this is what I said I was going to do. This is what I actually did instead. And this is fine. We need space in our years to be able to explore new things. And I think that we're always on the right path. But I need you to be real with yourself when you ask yourself, did I take intuitive guidance based on the goals that I have? Or did I get distracted along the way because I didn't believe that I could achieve the goals that I created for myself, or because I wasn't ready to accept that goal? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, just like distractions is really huge, you guys. Like if you have the goal of reaching a certain outcome, of reaching a certain thing, or even like working with people in a certain capacity, what are you focusing on? Like I spent a lot of time as an early entrepreneur focusing on the wrong things because I didn't do the maybe mindset work around the things that I really wanted to be doing, or I didn't give myself the permission to be doing the things I really wanted to do. And I think that really held me back for a long time. So the more that we can connect with ourselves and really trust in the guidance that we're receiving, I think the closer we can move toward our goals. And also like not looking at just like what we didn't achieve, but looking at the big picture of like, okay, this is how much closer I am to building this dream or to accomplishing this dream. Remember, guys, that like we're going after something that's really big. We're going after dream life, right? Like dream life in business. This is huge. This is really big work, right? Like we're not just trying to, first of all, I don't even believe that there's a fast way to make money. If you want a fast way to make money, go get a job. Entrepreneurship is not a fast path to cash unless you have a team, unless you're backed by a ton of funding, unless you can, and even then it's not fast. Entrepreneurship is not a fast path to cash. So we need to know that. However, there are definitely certain things that we can do to make it worthwhile, if you will, to get to where you feel like you're in a good financial situationship. And that's why I have the Aligned, Magnetic, and Profitable Business framework, because my goal is to help you make money ASAP. And if you continuously are holding yourself back or keeping yourself small because you don't believe in yourself, because you don't believe in what you have to offer, because you are speaking to the wrong audience who's not empowered to pay you, because you don't believe that you deserve to be paid, because whatever all the reasons are, then those are going to hold you back more than anything. And so if any of this is resonating with you, just let me know. I would love to actually offer you a free consultation. And what we can do is kind of just evaluate where you're at on your business journey, highlight some next steps, look at what is challenging you or holding you back, and we can go from there. So if you love this episode, first of all, I just want to thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate you for tuning in and listening. Don't forget to leave a review or to subscribe. Like whatever you do, subscribing, leaving a review on Apple or even on Spotify, you can leave a star rating. This helps me so much to get this message out there to the people who need to hear about a new way of creating a business without all the stress, without all the pressure, and just in a really divine and a really guided way. And I would love to get this into the ears of as many people who need to hear it. So thank you for leaving your review. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this episode with the people that you thought of. And I love you so very much. And I'll see you in the next episode.